There is a structure of control that has been coming online for many decades. Initially, its encroachment was incremental. However, the implementation of strategic psychological conditioning and predictive programming has allowed the acceleration of a system Orwell himself likely wouldn't have envisioned. It seems as though we're being actively distracted from the fact that the New World Order is already here. As technologies like 5G, AI, and virtual reality expand, the lemmings are thrilled for more efficient internet access, yet this isn't armed to that structure of control. If you've seen some of my other videos, I talk about different aspects of a system designed to keep you asleep on virtually every level. Theater wars, political banter, media fear-mongering, there is a false construct being pulled over our eyes. The instigated doldrums of the real world can make the virtual world seem more appealing. However, the digital realm is a mechanism being used to usher in a new era of deception, at least within the context of the biblical prophetic narrative. I'm speaking in terms of the mark of the beast, polymerization of human and animal genes to gain X-Men-like abilities, and mechanized hybridization in a radical attempt to synthetically increase the human lifespan. Whether this is achieved by digitizing the human consciousness or creating an avatar with the ability to experience the full spectrum of emotions and sensory perceptions is unknown. However, when you look into something like the worldwide spy network with adjuncts such as the NSA surveillance system, which monitors virtually all forms of communication on the web, you're looking at the framework of a control grid that, with AI, becomes tantamount to all the sci-fi horror stories you've heard about. The internet then becomes this arbitrator of the digital dominion where everything in the cloud is subject to its scrutiny. If you have a computer network in your home or you own a cell phone, you can guarantee there's a backdoor, a mechanism of monitoring tapped directly into the software and servers your device communicates with. And just who is doing this? There isn't a team of men sitting in a room full of monitors watching everyone necessarily, though I'm sure on some level there's truth to that, but essentially the collection is automatic and the funneling of your personal data-rich information to the appropriate corresponding hubs are aided by data gathering and processing facilities. This is all done under the guise and pretense of national security and classified operations and programs. The people that put this system into place aren't going to be the ones to inherit control. With a non-human factor, I sincerely think we'll go further than that. Not just because of AI, but because technology is beginning to cross into spiritual boundaries. Maybe it always has. We see soft examples of this demonstrated with instruments that are able to pick up electronic voice phenomena and apparitions, which I would refer to as demonic manifestation. But let me pause to give that some context. Have you heard of scrying? Scrying is an occult practice and prominent means of fortune-telling and divination. Using an appropriate medium, typically a reflective surface, one aims for revelation, insight on the future, or even communication with a non-corporeal entity. These entities exist in a dimension just outside of our range of perception, typically referred to as the veil. I'm becoming convinced that technologies such as quantum computers akin to D-Wave, advanced particle accelerators like CERN, and high-gain multi-phase transmission apparatus are modern-day scrying mediums capable of opening micro holes in the veil. These technologies are essentially attempts to enhance communication with non-human intelligences and create a counterfeit key to the bottomless pit. An interesting side note is that scrying can also utilize a black mirror as an appropriate medium to channel entities. A black mirror? We carry one of those in our pockets. We have them in our living rooms, bars, at the office. Could we be channeling and not know it? But moving on, think about all the multifaceted ways we're being bombarded with toxins. Aerosol injections, genetically modified foods, vaccination contents, fluoridated water, the smart grid, electromagnetic radiation from smart devices. Such precision requires significant knowledge of biological functions and the structure of human anatomy. It takes quite a bit of refined scientific understanding to precisely orchestrate such a sophisticated assault. While prestigious scientific institutions and accredited medical foundations and universities explain some of this understanding, it doesn't account for it all. Programs like MKUltra and remote viewing are just one type of example relating to covert experimentation exploiting some of the lesser-known qualities of the mind. Some of this knowledge and technology is ancient, and it isn't keen to fit squarely into our nuts and bolts understanding of it today. It's been passed down and channeled from the fallen ones. For years it was beasts of burden, horse and carriages, then suddenly an explosion of innovation and profound changes. I don't subscribe to the idea that we're as sophisticated as we've ever been. I think in many ways we're catching up to the ancient past and we're deceived about parts of our history. Ecclesiastes 1:9 states, "What has been will be again, what has been done will be done again. There's no new thing under the sun." Matthew 24:24 states, "For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect." Now, I know the elect is in reference to God's people, however, I believe the ones we elected, the deceivers, are being deceived. Again, they think they'll inherit this control grid and ultimately the world, but once control is handed over to non-human intelligence, be it computerized or otherwise, preservation of the system will become the new logistic. There will be no distinction between young, old, rich, poor, free, or slave. Either you become subservient or you relinquish the ability to engage in commerce. That's where all this has been leading. Total control and an automation of that control to preemptively respond to threats to the established order. What we do online is used to map and predict collective human behavior and thinking patterns through outlets such as social media and other information sharing platforms. In many ways, the internet has already become the sort of center to exploit personal information and intimate details through search engines and browser history, which can now be sold by internet service providers. This information can in turn be used to assess your level of threat based on a set of arbitrary criteria. How many of you heard the story of Facebook's artificial intelligence robots being shut down after they started communicating with each other in their own language? Does anyone else foresee the potential dangers in handing the internet over to something that can pass ideas to each other? Ideas you don't or aren't meant to understand? Once things go AI or become fully automatic, we'll be heading towards a future where there'll be very few skilled or employed people because tasks have been replaced by automation. It'll get to a point where merging with the technology becomes a solution, and it'll be at that point where we truly become programmable. Everyone is looking down at their device. It's ironic, the very utility keeping them connected is being used to disconnect them from the world. Soon, we won't have to carry the device, we'll become the device. The best solution right now is to spread awareness, refuse to participate in certain aspects of the autonomic model of control, and do your own research. Most importantly, though, arm yourself with the full armor of God to protect yourself spiritually, because ultimately, our battle really isn't against flesh and blood.